Okay, Coach. I guess we start out with just, what did you like from the Toronto game? I know obviously not everybody played, Sheldon Dries being a piece that was out. And, looking forward to, the first three series are really tough: Ferris State, Bowling Green, and Denver.
Well, we actually, I think, really benefited from the game against the University of Toronto last weekend. I really liked our game. Some of those games against the Canadian teams, for whatever reason, our players not energized as they should be, but we were ready to go, played hard, had 50 shots on net, multiple scoring chances. I liked our puck possession. I believe we gave up 17 shots on net. And, we came out on the wrong side of the scoreboard, which is disappointing. I think, however, if you look at the overall game, I was impressed with our speed and like the potential that exists with this group. So we know going ahead, as you talked about, very tough series against Ferris this week. A rival just down the road for us, and I think they bring out the best in us, and we bring out the best in them as well. So expecting two very tough games. We go up there for the first one. That's a tough building to play in. Coach Daniels always has his team well prepared. They happened to lose a couple of games last weekend, so there's going to be some Owly Bulldogs waiting for us to come into their arena. But we're excited. First game that counts, and we're excited to get things going.
You had 6 new faces out on the ice there for the game against Toronto. What were some of the positives that you saw out of them?
Well, we were really taking a look at our freshman players. That was one thing that we wanted to see them in some real game action, and they certainly didn't disappoint. They got involved offensively. Cam Lee had a great game from the blue line as well, and although Ben Blacker probably would like to have a couple of those goals back, we know that he's got a lot of potential in that. So, our young people played well, but more than that, I liked the improvement on the part of some of our other upperclassmen. I thought some of our juniors and seniors took more of a leadership role, and a class that we're really counting on this year, our sophomores, improving a great deal. Look like they have taken some steps as well.
One big positive, obviously I think the post-game press conference you said you weren't happy with the penalties that you took, but the penalty kill going, I think either 6 for 6 or 7 for 7, with the way it was last year, had to be a real positive.
Well, certainly our penalty kill had nowhere to go but up in terms of college hockey last year, and we don't want to overtax them. We don't want to have to kill too many penalties, but we liked our rotations. Again, we used some new people in those particular roles, so it was very solid for us. Power play got a couple of goals for us there, but again, we have to be real careful in terms of playing assertive but not taking unnecessary penalties.
I know that Ferris has Corey Mackin. He was the WCHA Freshman of the Year last year. And how did you guys plan on stopping him?
Well, Ferris, when you're talking about Corey Mackin being an outstanding freshman last year, and he was a great player. They have Mayhew also up front, who's was picked to be the most valuable player in the WCHA for this coming year, had over 40 points last year. I'd like to think, rather than talking about how we're going to stop those guys, is that Ferris is talking about how they're going to stop some of our players. So bottom line is when you play a team like Ferris, it's got a great transition game. They've got mobile defensemen who can move the puck, and they've got some very skilled forwards. You need to have the puck yourself. If you're watching Macklin play, and if you're watching Mayhew play, and Chad McDonald, another one of their quick forwards, if you're watching those guys play, that's not good for you. So, we'd like to think that Ferris is going to have to deal with some of our offensive threats as well.
You had a couple of changes on the blue line. I know the last couple of years, the fans got used to seeing Neil Goff and Scott Moldenauer together, and then same thing with Taylor Fleming and Chris Dines. What was the thoughts behind, the new pairings?
Well, I think, based on some of the talent we have now and some new players coming in and how some of our other players have developed, we want to be a little more mobile back there. We want to have a little bit better puck-moving ability. And I think with some of the pairs now, we have that solid, more stable type defensive defenseman, and yet we have another player in that tandem that can step up, create offensively, and join that rush as the fourth guy. So I think it's a matter of trying to give balance to our unit. We've lost so many defensemen early here in recent years that have moved on from the program to professional hockey that we weren't able to do that. But I like the group this year, the guys we've got coming back, and what we've supplemented that with young players. Our mobility should be better.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.